Empire. Technology can lead to the ultimate goal.
In modern times, simulation came into the game also not only to design but also to simulate the reality. So we are doing a lot of sessions to develop the boat in simulator.
That's Alessandro Francischetti, head of structural engineering for the Rossa Prada Pirelli team. We're making the boat faster, and bringing Italy an America's Cup is the goal. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. Nowhere in big-time sports does technology have more of an impact than in motorsports and vessel sailing. So it does make you wonder if humans, are they even needed anymore? And I'm going to ask that question of our guests today as they describe how major sailing has changed with the advent of better and better machine learning. Our guests this week are Alessandro Francischetti, who is the head of structural engineering for the Rossa Prada Pirelli sailing team, and Andrea Benedetto, who's the managing director of Altair Italy. They have combined forces as Altair is a simulation technology company and engineering consulting company with the goal of making the Rossa team the next America's Cup winner. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you, Bram. Thank you very much.
Let me mention that you are joining us all the way from Italy, so thank you for the time change and making the time for us today. Andrea, let me start with you. Altair, what do you all do?
Altair is a technology provider where technology means really a lot of things for us. So it's not just simulations, but it's much more than that because it's a high-performance computing. It is data analytics. It is artificial intelligence. So we combine all our technologies and the knowledge of our people in order to support our customers. Among our customers, there is Rossa, which is one of the more challenging ones.
And Alessandro, tell me a little bit about the team, where you were, where you are, and how the technology is helping you move forward in your quest to become America's Cup champions.
Yes, Rossa is a long-term America's Cup challenger. It's an Italian team founded in 1997. So this is the coming America's Cup is going to be the sixth challenge for Rossa. And among these decades, the way of designing and simulating the yacht change radically, and more in these latest America's Cup challenges, we had to move to a full virtual environment in order to design and predict multiple designs prior to the construction of the final candidate and the final yacht. And Altair, during the last campaign and in this campaign, is a strong partner for us to make the things happening.
When you say things have changed radically over the last 25 years, what do you mean by that?
The methodologies of designing changed quite dramatically. Back in the days, there was a lot of trial and error and real prototype testing. Now, time compressed a lot. We need to explore many options in a very short term, in very short time, and simulation becomes one of the most important partner and asset in order to explore radical designs in a very short time.
Andrea, I know you mentioned that you're not just a simulation technology company, but for the purpose of this conversation, can you discuss a little bit about that technology as you work with Rossa and try to build a champion vessel?
As Alessandro said, there is a strong need to be extremely quick from the idea they have to the validation of the idea. And at the same time, they need us to provide extremely correct, up to the point, sophisticated results, because the technology of the boat is extremely sophisticated. So we have no margin of error. So with them, we are converging both implementing our tools in order to be faster. So they need to have a very quick response from the idea with however they have, so from a CAD design or a draft or an assumption to a final result. So we work them in terms of process to give them the chance to make several loops, be very fast, but at the same time, we work implementing our tools in order to become more and more sophisticated and more capable to show the results in details when they need, where they need.
Alessandro, when we talk about simulation, are you simulating conditions? And if you are, how are you trying to simulate what the sailing conditions will be like?
Yes, simulation means a lot of things. We need to be able to simulate processes. We need to be able to simulate the yacht itself in the real environment. So just going through what Andrea said, we are in an environment in this space that I call virtual creativity. So we need to be able to reproduce in our virtual environment the real conditions. And not only for performance itself, but also to be able to explore, for instance, from structure point of view, I'm the head of structural engineering of the team, innovative solutions. So what I would like to say is the synergy that we are establishing with Altair is something that is promoting this more and more. Last campaign, we were partners of Altair. We were simulating with Altair tools, but we were only users, very high proficiency users. This time we did a leap. We start to interact with them. So we are in the can we do this together question every day.
And Andrea, can you talk just worldwide in this space? Is this like a tech arms race? Is that happening worldwide as these teams compete with one another now?
What I must say here is that being a partner for Luna Rossa means that all the Italian team is only devoted to them, and we will not share any experience that we got on the field with the other competitors. And let me say, we are, as a company, used to do that. In Italy, we work for Ferrari. In Germany, they will be working for other OEMs and so on. And there is no, of course, sharing of any knowledge. But what I can say is that throughout the world, Altair is working for many sports players. And we know how much the technology is supporting the development of performances of several sports, including supporting athletes with disabilities in order to be able to reach their performance. So what we see is more and more a strong involvement of simulation, of data analytics, of artificial intelligence, in supporting every sport in delivering more performances, more fun.
Alessandro, let me, what I'm curious about, and I think what I'm trying to get at with both of you is, where does human element still play a role in the competition part of all of this? We're seeing a lot of it in motorsports here in America and worldwide, that the technology seemingly becomes as important, if not more important, than the driver of the vehicle. In your space, in boating, where are you seeing human element and its importance to overall success?
This is a very important question, and it's actually something that we ask ourselves every day. Technology and simulations are vital for our design, but behind the technology, there is always the human. I've been asked a lot of times, is the boat or the crew that makes the difference in a race? And I would say that it's absolutely a race that we do as a team. So the designers are actually racing now with their design and the simulations, and the sailors will race in the regatta. So human is behind technology, and human is the first line player during the race itself. So to me, is equal the importance of the technology element of the boat to the crew, but behind the boat there are humans. So at the end of the day, bottom line is the human touch that will make the technology better.
It may not be your specialty part to train the human element of this, but as you are building this and putting this technology in place, how are crew members training differently than maybe in the past to prepare to race in modern times?
In modern times, simulation came into the game also not only to design, but also to simulate the reality. So we are doing a lot of sessions to develop the boat in simulator. So we are capable to mimic the reality. And nowadays we are spending hours and hours in the sim compared to the past. So the sailors are actively involved in the design since the beginning now, and they are actually leading the evolution of the design in the 3 years, for instance, of an America's Cup cycle. While in the past, the sailors were just waiting for the boat, and then they were only be able to sail the boat in real. Now they are actually working alongside with the technology every day from the beginning of the cycle to the very end.
Interesting. Andrea, tell me a little bit about the growth of the technology through the years, where these simulation technologies were, where the consulting was, and where it is now, and where do you think it's going as you continue to try to outperform each vessel?
I can say that also we have our daily race, like Alessandro. So technology is moving fast, and which means that we can implement more and more sophisticated algorithms in our simulation, because at the same time we are developing the potential of high performance computing. So the more our customer ask, the more deep and precise and refined we go, the more the supercomputing chances allow us to be fast. So it's really a never ending race. The main trends have been from developing performances separately and then putting together and checking if everything is working. Now we are fully in a world of a multi-physics, multi-domain optimization. So it's no more that you design the aero fluidodynamics on a part and then you check if the structure is working, but really all the performances are coming together, and the performances are not just structural or fluid or aerodynamics. It's also weight management, where you have your center of gravity, all the balances of the components. So really the complexity is becoming bigger and bigger, wider and wider. And this is also making things more difficult for people to take care of everything. There we see a strong impact of machine learning, artificial intelligence supporting the harmonization and the optimization of all performances simultaneously.
As you two work together, Alessandro, if you could give me an example, what is a breakthrough like? When you've had an advancement, can you give us an example of what a breakthrough is by using these technologies to make the vessel more efficient and faster?
An example in my field is optimization is the key word, and I would add to Andrea also digital twin. This is a word that is quite common nowadays, and we are, let's say, pioneers together with with a partner like Altair in digital twin. So the breakthrough to me in the last years was the capability of having a real digital twin. So something that you can model and have a full understanding of the prediction prior to build a component. In structures, to have an idea, we have developed together with Altair in the last years very advanced composite optimization protocols. We have taken what was the basis of the composite optimization from Altair, from their tool OptiStruct, and we have together boosted this tool with custom routines, and we are able nowadays to produce for both primary structures that are fully optimized with the tool of OptiStruct and have a very, let me say, organic shapes, something that in the past was not possible. Nowadays, we have a very strong influence of the optimizer in any primary structure of the boat, and this is weight optimization and more than weight, time, because we work in synergy with Altair and in synergy with the optimizer. So the optimizer and the engineer are working in parallel. This free up time to the engineer to be more creative while the optimizer is actually doing this job. So in our environment, there is a very famous sentence that the only thing that you cannot buy is time in the America's Cup. And having a partner and the tools of Altair working alongside will give us more time in the design phase to explore more options.
So with that in mind, we'll leave the conversation with this, Alessandro. Since you can't buy time, what needs to happen within this partnership and for your team to achieve your goal and win the America's Cup?
You need to have a recipe that it's quite difficult to put together. I had the privilege to win once the trophy. And in order to make this chemistry, you need to have the right elements in sequence in a very restricted timing. So the time is the same for everyone, but you need to be able to explore in the first phase of concepting, but be able also to stop yourself and start to create what you think is the best of your candidates in the right time. And then something else, you always need to have a contingency of improvement all the time. You need to arrive to the race after 3 years, and you still need to have something in the bag. Until the very last day, we are doing development. The boat that you see the day before the final race is not the same as the boat the day after. Oh. So the best chemistry is to have a different time speed along your campaign. You need to go to a certain speed at the beginning of the 3 years, and then you need to switch to have a very fast reaction and refinement in a very short time in the very last days or even hours of the competition. This is the key to success.
Alessandro Francischetti is the head of structural engineering for the Rossa Prada Pirelli sailing team, and Andrea Benedetto is the managing director at Altair, Italy. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you very much for hosting.
Thanks.
That will do it for this episode. As always, the future is now. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein.